Hello, everybody on this thankful Thursday. How you doing out there? I decided I'll show you my face. I like my mask. This is me today. Let's go over review. Everything happens for a reason. Before we start that, remember to smile today. Study with excitement. Meditate with intentions. Inspire others. Laugh hysterically and elevate yourself. Don't forget the three E's: energy, effort, and excitement. That's what I'm going to put into reading today. We're going to go back over the three gifts. Reason two, to help you totally accept yourself. Because when you were born, you were given three gifts. One, two, three. One is the gift of life. The second gift is the gift of a life. The third gift is the gift of you. Okay? We talked about that. We talked about what she got from what she lost. What do you get from something when you lose something? Sarah lost her leg and she found a way to find meaning in what she lost, what she got. Then, Sarah, you ask yourself these questions, answer them yourself. Would you say that you've lived your life overly concerned with what other people want and what they think is important? Does it seem like you're always trying to change things about yourself without making much long-term progress? Are you afraid to tell people close to you what you want? Do you often feel like someone who doesn't matter, or do you often let people treat you like someone who doesn't matter? Hmm. Do you feel that if people knew the real you, they wouldn't like you? Do you have a clear dream of something you want to do or a way you want to live based on what's most important to you? That you're not doing anything to make it come true. Then we talked about self acceptance. It's just around the corner. Everyone achieves self acceptance the same way. It's like remembering someone's name. It's on top, on the tip of your tongue. You almost got it. You have a sense that because you want to remember it, you will remember it. But there's nothing in settling. There it is. You remember the person's name. It's the same with self-acceptance. When you really get it, you get all of it. And you get it in a flash. And what you get is a kind of sweeping power finally to let yourself alone. How does some big event in our lives bring this about for us? There's something massive and mindless about a terrible event, whether it's an attack, an illness, or getting hurt by tough economic times. The tidal wave that sweeps over us can make us feel like we're nothing. It's the opportunity to shout back, I'm worthwhile, when life says, you're nothing. That makes it possible for some people to gain that flash of self acceptance. So find meaning in what happened. Now we're going to getting what you deserve. Today is June 15th, 2023. Getting what you deserve. What happens next doesn't happen right away. It doesn't happen to everyone, but eventually happens to more people than you might think. You get fed up, you say, wait a minute, holy cow, I don't deserve this crap. It hits you that you don't deserve to be treated this way by life. And then something else hits you. You realize that you've been treating yourself the same way. If it sucks, the way life treats you is totally nuts that you be treating yourself the same way. That's it. Then for most people, it's like a light going all self acceptance was impossible. Then suddenly, it's absolutely necessary and easy. What does this feel like? It feels like looking at the parts of yourself you hated and rejected, but now you look at them and suddenly you feel they're okay. You can live with them. Maybe you even like them. For the first time in your life, you appreciate the gift of you that you were given. This is what I wanted Sarah to experience. We know, I said, that finding self acceptance is the meaning of what happened to you based on your answers to the diagnostic questions. But I think we can go beyond knowing that you went through what you did so you can achieve self acceptance. Let's talk about how you will achieve it. I asked Sarah to talk about parts of herself she'd had trouble accepting before she lost her leg. You know, the whole time I was growing up, my parents urged me to get married and have kids, although why they urged me to do something that's kind of natural for most people to do. I don't know. When my mom talked to me about being an accountant, the first thing she said was that it was good because I could do it part time when my kids were little. But what I really wanted to do, I wanted to become a doctor. And somehow the way I was brought up or something made them seem really selfish. Then when I got hurt, I think this happened a lot. You see what the doctors can do for you, and you feel so grateful. You want to be able to do the same things for others. Then again, I told myself, nah, you can't become a doctor. I don't know. Like, I'd have been inconveniencing people if I stood up and said I wanted to do that. But it sounds like that your heart's desire, I said, and you've spent your life rejecting it. Unless you accept it, you're not accepting yourself. If you were being accepted into a new group of people, like into a new church, how would you want to be accepted? With open arms. Well, that's how you have to accept this part of your life with open arms. Open your arms to your own desires. Maybe a further reason why you lost your leg was to kind of slow you down so you could accept the reality of your wanting to become a doctor while you're still young enough to make it happen. It's so funny that we're talking about this now, Sarah said. When I first learned I was going to lose my leg, even while I was crying, that no one was going to want me and I was going to be alone for the rest of my life. Part of me had this crazy thought. Now I be, now I can become a doctor. That's what kept coming into my head. There are probably lots of one-legged doctors in the world, I think. I'd always been scared to accept the responsibility of what I really wanted. I mean, that's taking on a lot, but I don't have to be scared of anything now. So why not figure out a way to go to medical school? I said to myself. What happened to me is almost like a metaphor. Life played a dirty trick on me when it cut off my leg. So why would I cut off part of myself? And that's what I'd been doing if I didn't fully accept my heart's desire. We need to accept our heart desires. That's getting what you deserve. Next section, even the smallest event. This is more or less what everyone I talked to said. I accept myself because I see that I can't do to myself what life did to me. Remember the two rape victims I talked about in the previous chapter. Forgive me for repeating what one of them said. I'll tell you, being raped really gives you the message that you're nothing. Well, it took me a long time, but I finally saw if I think of myself as nothing, then I'm doing to myself just what the rapist did to me. And I refused to do that. That terrible experience really forced me to accept myself as a worthwhile person. I promised myself I would never again reject the real me. That's how the light went on for her. Even small events can wake us up to self acceptance. We've been needing Jack's story, been needing. Jack's story shows this. About 10 years ago, I was on vacation with some buddies in New York. We were busy doing stupid stuff, strip club, bars, and so on. And on the third day, I got up early to go out and buy a present for my mother. When I got back to the hotel, all the guys had taken off. The only message they left was, got tired of waiting. We decided to go to Atlantic City. We'll see you when we see you. I couldn't believe it. It was the worst insult of my life. I really felt hurt. And I hadn't been feeling so good about myself to begin with. Buddies don't do that to each other. So who was I that they would do that to me? I moped around for a while, then I got fed up. While moping around, just thought, screw it. I'm in New York. I'm going to have a good time. Since I was alone, I started to think about what I really want to do. The next thing you know, I'm going to museum, natural history, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, a concert stuff I would never have thought of doing when I was with those guys. I remembered at one point thinking that everything happens for a reason, and I was glad for what had happened. It taught me that I could be, that I had to be who I was, and that meant most of all doing what I wanted. That is it. That's it. Exactly. Jack's friend rejected him. He wouldn't reject himself. His friends abandoned him. He wouldn't abandon himself. Here's another story that shows how relatively common events in our lives can give us a flash of insight that makes self-acceptance possible. Terry had caught the flu. It was a bad case. It lingered for weeks. Before she got sick, she lived the kind of social life was very important to her husband and that had been important to her parents. Always throwing parties, going to other people's party, going on vacation with other couples. She hated doing these things, but she couldn't accept the part of herself that hated doing them. She felt there was something wrong with her for not always wanting to be with people, for preferring solitude. As she recovered, she asked herself, why did I have to go through this ordeal? Realizing that her life was precious, Terry saw that she had to stop destroying herself the way her illness had tried to destroy her. And when she didn't accept herself and how she wanted to live, she was destroying herself. All this for her was the reason why she got sick. So why shouldn't self-acceptance be just around the corner for you too? Next section, picking up self-acceptance habits. When we don't accept ourselves, we look some a bit of our bodies, our minds, and our desires. We get worked up over how yucky it is. We're like a movie critic who's all excited at how much he or she hates a certain movie. If this habit, one moment. If this habit weren't so destructive, it would be almost delicious. The way it's sometimes delicious to get together with a friend and talk about what crappy person, excuse me, person someone else is. Hold on. Thank you. We're using our energy and intelligence to reject ourselves. The new habits develops as we use our energy and intelligence to accept ourselves. Morning sneeze. You've already seen that you can't and won't do to yourself what your life has done to you. So you've got the basis for self acceptance. Now, really, throw yourself into it. Accept yourself for having trouble accepting yourself. And why not? Life today is set up to make it hard for people to accept their weakness, their imperfections. Just pick up any magazine, for example. Magazines are filled with articles showing how to do things the right way. They're filled with tips on how to improve yourself. They're filled with images of stories of people who are better looking, more capable, and more successful than will ever be. It's hard to come away from the things like this thinking, I'm fine just the way I am. Part of the problem comes from how much we want to fit in somewhere. It goes back to when you were in high school. Back then, most of us were made uncomfortable by whatever made us different from everyone. In high school, I felt uncomfortable because I didn't like wearing skirts. I wanted to wear pants. I felt comfortable covering up. I was uncomfortable because I had big breasts, a nice slender body, shapely. I felt uncomfortable. And everybody else was, hey, you need to wear your skirt, show your legs. No, I don't want to. We just wanted to be popular. That's why most high school kids dress and talk just like the kids in their group. No, I stood on my own. I went to all girl high school, Area View Catholic in Cleveland, which is closed. So I ain't try to fit in. I made my own like I do now. Maybe the impulse to fit in is in our nature's way of helping us become team players. Because that's how so much gets done in an adult world. So if you're fat, you learn to hate it because it's the kind of thing that gets you off the team. If you don't talk the way the other people talk, they might think you're weird and shun you. They look at you like, look, you don't fit in. We don't want her to play on our team, or we don't want him to play on our team because he can't. He don't know where to kick the ball. He don't know where to hit. He don't know what he's doing. Okay. If you're interested in something other people aren't interested in, you learn it's something shameful, something to hide. So we all become hall monitors of ourselves. I remember what a hall monitor was. You make sure you get to class before the bell rang. If not, they'll write you up. So have you been hall monitoring yourself, writing yourself up with negative thoughts and not positive things? We scrutinize and criticize ourselves. That's what I said. And by hating and ignoring what's special about ourselves, we can't accept ourselves. So we throw away that all important third gift we got when we were born, the gift of ourselves as we really are. Accept yourself the way you are. You really are. Of course, this is much bigger issue for some people than for others. Some people have an easy time accepting most things about themselves. Some people have a very difficult time. Why would this be especially hard for some of us? Let's answer that question. Why would it be hard to accept yourself? Maybe we got a lot of criticism growing up. Did people put you down when you were growing up? Did they say, oh, you're not going to be anything? You're just going to be poor. You don't have any potential. You have no gifts. Maybe loneliness made us desperate to fit in. Maybe we just weren't wonderful enough in the ways we wanted to be wonderful. And maybe we looked at what was special about us and freaked out. Have you ever freaked out over yourself? It felt too gross or weird, like like being gay in high school, like being a woman who always wants to be in charge, like being a guy who likes to daydream, like being a woman who likes to be alone. As a result, many of us live like spies in enemy land, vigilant against ourselves in case we might be found out. Of course, plenty of us get the message that we are bad for being who we uniquely are. It's called Take Me As I Am, or you have nothing at all. That's why she wrote that song, Take Me As I Am, Mary J. Blige said. Take me as I am. So take me as I am, or have nothing at all. Self-acceptance. A lot of people ain't going to accept who you are. So accept yourself. What's scary is how easily we swallow this message when it's offered in the gust of help. Let's talk about women for a moment. Although the same kind of thing is true for men. Our society has an image of a standard woman. She's thin, attractive, well groomed, well dressed, and she smiles a lot. She may have a career, but still likes girly things, baby, shoes, cooking, interior decorating. She's nice and has a lot of nice girlfriends. She works, but she does the kind of work women do. Now, suppose you're a mother, you know, the dark truth that you yourself aren't as much a standard woman as people think you are. Most of us inside don't live up to society's models. And you know, this has hurt you. Either if you had to reject the parts of yourself that are different, or you've had to suffer at the hands of others for being different. So look at your daughter, all ready to celebrate what makes her special, and you get scared. You get scared when you look at your children. You know how much easier her life will be if she's more like the standard woman. You know how hard her life can be if she doesn't fit the mold. I'm about to stand up. That standard woman. I'm not that standard woman. Hold on. I'm going to show you. I am not that standard woman. Hold up. I'm not the standard woman. So, hold on. That standard woman, she was thin. I'm thick. She was well dressed. I'm well dressed. She was well groomed. I'm well groomed. We all can't live up to that standard woman because women come in all shapes and sizes, no matter what career you have. So, yes, I'm still a standard woman. That image doesn't change. Yeah, it's in the magazine that you got to be thin, but there are plus size women. There's in between women. You got small, medium, and large. You got your BW, you got your petite, you got your BBW. So that image of a standard woman, no. They need to eliminate the word being a standard woman. There is no standard for a woman when it comes to the size you are. It's how you carry it and how you carry your self-acceptance. Okay? Let's talk about this. You know how hard her life can be if she doesn't fit into the world. She ain't got to fit into the mold of being thin, petite. No. That's what causes young girls to be bulimia, anorexia, all these emotional things, depressed because they don't fit in. So as a good mother, you turn the device, turn, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. The pressure always on because you want your daughter to have a good life, just the way your mother did with you. Different issues, maybe the same pressure. Well, she may rebel because she loves you, respects you, and wants to please you. And so, like many daughters throughout history, she ultimately agrees and dislikes about herself the things she thinks you dislike about her. Maybe many of us have been treated this way. In the end, family, school, workplace, society as a whole can easily combine to give us this message. We want you to dislike about yourself everything we dislike about you. That includes everything we think is outside of the norm. Damn the norm. That's what I say. Throw the norm. There's nothing norm anymore. BBWs then came out. BWs. Glamorous grannies then came out. Grannies are coming out. The signs of time has changed. So she hates herself for being overweight, just as she was taught. Or she hates herself for not being interested in having kids to the point of denying to herself that she's not interested, just as she was taught. Or she hates herself for being ambitious, so develops 1,000 energy consuming devices pretending she's not ambitious, just as she was taught. There it is. Then more than ample justification for understanding what a big job self-acceptance really is until life comes along, kicks you in the pants, and makes it a lot easier for you. We have read about picking up the self-acceptance habits. Also, even the smallest event can change your life. Like Jack was rejected from his friends. His friends left him in New York, but he found a way to make things happen for himself. That's why I say everything happens for a reason. We don't know why the cosmic kindergarten does what it do. We don't know why God does certain things. Everything happens for a reason. Even the smallest event you can change. And remember, getting what you deserve. Next week, we will talk about fat, skinny, tall, and short. But remember to smile today. Peace. On Thankful Thursday, remember to be thankful, even though everything happens for a reason.